Jahlil Okafor has been in the news because he's kind of run amok, and there's much debate as to whether he's a bad guy, or if you listen to Coach K, who coached Jahlil at Duke, great kid, did all the right things. Just he said some things about Jahlil Okafor that you never hear a coach say about a particular individual, just sticking up for his character and saying, hey, he might have done these things, but this isn't who he is. And I think we've got to remember these kids are 19 years old and they're suddenly thrust into this situation, can pretty much have what they want, and they're on the road, they're all over the place, and people like to take advantage of some situations.
Yeah, so for Okafor, I mean, I don't want to say it's a tough situation, but like you said, he is 19 years old. So being 19 years old, you're still an NBA player, even though you're 19 years old. You represent that logo, you represent the Sixers. But again, you're 19 years old, and you're not actually even old enough to drink at a bar. So, you know, he's still a kid in that category. But like you said, for Coach K to say those things, Coach K said he's one of the smartest, kindest, most loving, gentle kids you'll ever meet. This was just a stupid act. Let's move on. For Coach K to defend him so quickly after only being with him for a year, I think that says a lot about him. But again, it goes back to having self-control and being the person that you are and who you represent. And as a professional athlete, you represent the NBA, you represent the team, and most importantly, yourself. So it does, at the end of the day, no matter who's saying what, it falls back on you, and I don't think he handled it the right way. And now they're saying there's 2 fights, not even just 1, 2. And if you watch those videos, I mean, there was guys on the concrete with blood on their face. This was not just an argument or this or that. It was serious, and you know that's not acceptable anywhere.
I have not seen the video. I'm refraining from seeing the video because I don't think it right for me to watch the video until I actually watch maybe like 3 minutes of an NBA game first. Maybe I should do that before I actually watch NBA players fighting in the streets. So, no, I've not seen the video. So, blood on the streets.
Yeah, it was a little more serious than just verbal and maybe some pushing here and there, which is what it was at first. And when the first video came out, that's what they said. And then once you really saw the second video, it was a little more than that.
So what do you do with a kid like that you think is genuinely a good kid, but has made some bad decisions? Maybe he's in a situation that, and when I said he's in a bad situation, he's not in a bad situation, but he suddenly has money he may not necessarily have had before. He's going from city to city. He's hanging out with older guys that have been out on the road. Who knows what they've done? Just going to clubs, going to bars constantly. I'm guessing that he's just in an unfamiliar situation. I'm guessing. I'm kind of conjecturing. So what do you do to kind of bring a kid like that, understanding that he's 19 and not trying to hold him accountable like he's Tom Brady and leading a NFL team, but he's got to be a professional. Do you have any words of wisdom?
I think the biggest thing is it's a self problem for him, but I think someone needs to direct him in the right direction. Is he's coming from a team that's just used to winning and the power of winning. And when you're on campus on college like Duke, you're big time. You're that A-list celebrity. But when you go to a team that loses 18 straight games and you go from top of the world to lowest of the NBA, you have to find that way to cope with losing. And you have to find your way to figure out how you can, okay, let's take this and turn it around, or let's do something rather than lose our minds out in the middle of the streets of Boston and start throwing punches.
Yeah, I think he needs a role model, and maybe he has ones in his life, and maybe they're just not there immediately with him. And so whether that's, and I'm guessing, not that I know the 76ers roster, I'm sure that you could recite it, Macy, but I don't know the 76ers roster. Maybe I'm with a team that bad, and I I heard today that they're the youngest team in the NBA. So I'm guessing there aren't a whole lot of role models for him on that team, that maybe there's a young assistant coach who can still relate to somebody who's 19. I don't know. But yeah, they have to find somebody that can kind of tag along him and not be Mr. Authoritarian, but can be somebody who's kind of like a big brother and still kind of cool and hip and can relate to him, but at the same time can guide him and just let him know what's smart and what's not the best place to be or the things to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when you're an athlete like that, people want to get into your pockets. And this guy is going to file charges, he's going to file lawsuits, and he's going to get money from it. So that's only going to cause more problems for Okafor as such a young guy. And I think if you get yourself into that pattern, you're just going to continue maybe getting into some trouble. So, it's only a 2-game suspension. He had to sit out against the Knicks the other night. He'll sit out against the Nuggets this weekend. And, okay, so you move on. You learn from it. It could have been way worse. I think a 2-game suspension, it was way easy. And people are upset by that. Coach K was upset that it was a 2-game suspension. But Coach K even said himself, it's stupid things that get you in trouble and you have to move on. And I think those are the best words that he could use, and move on from it. Don't fall back into that pattern.
And Macy, you actually hit on the point that I was going to make, but then I lost track of my point. But that's what I meant with bad situations. Yes, there are people out there that either want your money or just want to make a name for themselves or just want to see you look stupid or just antagonize you because they know that if you do something stupid, then they can kind of coerce you into a situation. So, yeah. So even more so than just run-of-the-mill guy or person going out to a club, it's totally different for these guys because they're targets to a lot of people.
Yeah, most definitely. It's unfortunate, but there's nasty people in the world, and these nasty people make these athletes kind of look like the bad person, when I'm not saying they're not bad people, good people, this or that, but like you said, they egg them on, they get in your face, and once someone's been in your face long enough and a couple of guys have been in your face and you've lost 18 games in a row, it just might be natural to throw a punch. I don't know.
And it might be for certain people. Yes, it might be for certain people, but he's going to have to get used to the losing and dealing with it a little bit better.